Chicago suburbs have fooled millions of people into seeing what only the media wants them to see. The boring bedroom community stereotype that dominates public perception of what these areas truly offer. The suburban Chicago you think you know is a mostly manufactured myth, carefully maintained to convince people to spend their money on city living. In this video, I'm going to bust 7 myths and it will completely flip how you see the suburbs. And let me be honest, the suburbs you think you know simply don't exist anymore. If you assume the wrong things about the Chicago suburbs, you might miss amazing options that fit your lifestyle perfectly. Hey, I'm Bram Blankenship, your go-to realtor in the Chicagoland area, and I've been watching for years how people's wrong ideas about the suburbs end up costing them big time. But I want to clear some of those and show the real value hidden in this area. So stick around if you're tired of city prices, need more space for your family, or find balance between community and convenience. Also, if you are looking at buying or selling a home, I would be honored to help you out. Reach out to me and you can find all my information in the description down below. Have you ever told someone you're moving to the suburbs only to get that blank stare? There's a reason, and it reveals first big misconception about them. They're all the same and nothing's different between them. Well, not really. When people mention Chicago suburbs, they mean more than 270 different municipalities in the area. And you know what's interesting is that each one has its own personality, government structure, and community vibe. Let's look at Naperville as just one example. With over 153,000 residents, Naperville isn't some tiny bedroom community. It's actually Illinois' third largest city, larger than many standalone cities across the country. That's right, Naperville alone has more people than places like Syracuse in New York or Savannah in Georgia. And the diversity among these suburbs is incredible. The Chicago suburbs covers several counties, and each county does its own thing with government and services, so living in one feels nothing like living in the other. And I'll cover some distinct neighborhood hidden gems right after we talk about this. Think about Oak Park with its Frank Lloyd Wright heritage and historic districts, and now compare that to Naperville's Illinois Technology and Research Corridor and modern downtown area. They're both technically Chicago suburbs, but the experience of living in each couldn't be more different. When we look at the suburban landscape visually, we start to understand the scale. If you picked up some of these suburban downtowns and dropped them somewhere else, people would call them cool urban centers. Now let me reveal the neighborhoods that most residents drive past without ever knowing what they're missing. Another misconception about the area is that it only offers you peace and quiet. That's untrue. And you'll see for yourself when I show you the culture and lifestyle later, but the truth is that you can actually find areas around here that fit your exact personality. And I'm talking about neighborhoods that have everything you could want, but without the downtown Chicago price tag. First, let's talk about waterfront communities. Places like Lake Bluff and parts of Highland Park have tranquil and upscale pockets with lake access and beautiful parks. Some houses here have lake access or great views, and it's like living at a resort 365 days a year. Then there are the local hangouts where residents actually live their daily lives. These neighborhoods have yoga studios, local coffee shops, and farmers markets, and they serve as great places for the community to gather and hang out. In communities like Glen Ellen or Clarendon Hills, these spots become the center of social life here. And speaking of community, the family neighborhoods throughout the suburbs are something special. Think streets lined with trees, community pools, tennis courts, and annual events full of attendees. St. Charles hosts the well-known Scarecrow Festival, and it attracts visitors from the whole region. They come to enjoy small town charm and big city perks. And how about downtown districts? Geneva, for example, offers riverside dining and unique shops. Honestly, a lot of Chicago neighborhoods wish they had this kind of charm. The pedestrian-friendly layouts and historic architecture create environments when you can park once and spend an entire day exploring. And wait until you hear about transit villages. Newer developments are nearer metro stations, catering to modern commuters seeking walkability at a lower cost. Communities like Arlington Heights have embraced this trend, and it creates dynamic hotspots around transportation hubs. Let me pause for a second here though. If you're new to the channel, I specialize in helping people discover the incredible value and lifestyle of the Chicago suburbs. What most people don't realize is that these communities offer much more than just bigger homes. They're really culturally rich places, so hit that subscribe button and leave a like because I'm constantly doing deep dives into specific suburbs and hidden neighborhoods. And I'd love to see you here more often. But back to the video, and how do we get these neighborhoods? And well, it might actually be faster than your current commute times. Think suburban commutes are brutal. The Metro BNSF Express gets you from Naperville to Union Station in about 45 minutes on the Express line, and that's faster than many trips within Chicago itself. But that's not all. Here are some facts about Chicago's commuter rail system. The Metro is the largest commuter rail system in America outside of New York City. We're talking 11 lines and 243 stations sprawling all over Chicago's metro area. So it's truly a massive transit network connecting the entire region. And the commute times, I'll be super transparent transparent with you guys. From Naperville to Union Station, like I said, you're about 45 minutes on the express train, and from Elmhurst, just about 26 minutes, with Hinsdale being close to 35. Now, compare that to traveling across Chicago on the CTA during rush hour. Many residents spend 45 minutes or more just getting from neighborhood to neighborhood. And you'll see how all that ties into the job reality around here. But first, let me tell you about how the infrastructure is continuously improving too. The $45 billion Rebuild Illinois program has upgraded infrastructure on major corridors throughout the region. The Pace Bus system, for example, helps suburban commuters reach jobs outside downtown Chicago. Routes like number 530 are made for the morning trip between key job hubs. When we look at this visually, it's even more impressive. In a race to downtown, a commuter from Elmhurst usually beats one from Bucktown. The express trains here in the suburbs make fewer stops and move faster than city transportation in many cases. And you'll notice something if you study metro station walkability heat map. Many suburban stations are surrounded by amenities within a 10-minute walk. So these are mini urban centers that serve daily needs without requiring a car for everyday errands. Time-lapse footage of actual morning commutes show another advantage: consistency. City transit times can vary wildly depending on traffic or CTA delays, but metro schedules tend to be pretty reliable from what I've noticed, making your morning routine more predictable. And those quick commutes, they're attracting more than just daily commuters. In fact, you'll be surprised with how corporations are taking advantage of these transit hubs to attract top talent. If you believe there are no job opportunities in the suburbs, think again. Major corporations aren't fleeing to downtown, they're getting suburban campuses. Aon, Zurich, Zebra Technologies, they're all in the suburbs. And I'll show you how companies like these have created environments that transform the work experience. But before I do, let's see why corporate investment in suburban office space is a trend worth watching. Major firms are expanding their suburban presence. Companies like Aon are consolidating operations into strategic or suburban spaces, and according to reports, Aon is now occupying space at the Bannockburn Corporate Center, and this shows they're all in on suburban locations. But now let's talk about office vacancy rates. Yes, the suburban market currently has vacancy rates ranging from 26 to 32%, which is high. However, what most people don't realize is that there are signs of stabilization in suburban office markets. And this is according to first quarter 2025 reports. So certain corridors and premium locations are performing much better than the average suggests. Why are companies choosing suburban locations? The perks are pretty clear. O'Hare is close for business trips, operational costs are lower than downtown, and there's plenty of parking for employees and clients. And speaking of employees, suburban offices fit the hybrid work model very well. The model is now pretty much the standard. And when employees only come to the office 2 to 3 days per week, a suburban location often makes more sense than downtown. Some companies report high employee satisfaction, and that's shown in several ways: short commutes, less stress, and a better work-life balance. Take Zurich, North America's headquarters, as an example. It offers corporate shuttle services for employees to reach transit hubs, and this commuting experience is actually hard to match in the city. Suburban businesses are changing, and now many have nice corporate campuses. They offer amenities like fitness centers, outdoor areas, and dining choices. These aren't the sterile office perks of the past, but dynamic work environments designed for today's workforce. Employees often praise the quality of life perks that come with the suburban jobs, and when you map out the business clusters near transit hubs, you start to see how strategic the placement of these offices really is. Okay, but the suburbs are boring after work. Are they really? This truly is a classic one though, you guys. Do you think Chicago suburbs are boring? Tell that to the thousands of attendees at Oak Park's Right Plus House Walk, or the millions of annual visitors to Naperville's Riverwalk. And especially the new kind of resident that's coming here, which we'll discover in just a minute. But that's right, Naperville's downtown area alone has over 150 unique businesses, more than 30 restaurants, and hosts events that draw massive crowds. The Riverwalk Fine Art Fair draws more than 45,000 visitors each year, and the atmosphere is as good as what you'd find at a city festival. Then we have Oak Park, a community known worldwide for its architecture. With 25 Frank Lloyd Wright buildings and the Hemingway Museum, it's a legit cultural hotspot with an art scene that's very much alive. The Right Plus House Walk in South Oak Park attracts architecture enthusiasts from all over the country and even internationally. Or consider Elmhurst City Center, which hosts signature festivals like Rock the Block, and these transform the downtown area into entertainment districts on the weekends. And the events are major draws that show what suburban life is really about. But the cultural depth goes beyond events. Suburban downtowns buzz with nightlife. They offer international cuisines, art galleries, and live music venues. From wine bars in Hinsdale to craft breweries in Downers Row, the options rival many city neighborhoods. Annual events create a rhythm to suburban life that many residents look forward to all year. Summer brings municipal band concerts, the Neighbor Nights series, and food festivals. These events celebrate diverse cuisines and fill our calendar with cultural opportunities every single year. And some suburbs offer consistent cultural programs that rival Chicago neighborhoods. Festival footage captures huge crowds relishing jazz concerts and outdoor movies. These parks, usually bustling with tourists in downtown, are full of life. The restaurant and nightlife scene also keeps changing for the better. Award-winning chefs are now opening suburban spots to reach the upscale market outside of the city of Chicago. And the difference between a suburb at noon versus at night can be dramatic. Sidewalk cafes and live music turn quiet streets into lively entertainment spots. And here's the kicker. Guess who's flocking to all these events and moving to these vibrant downtowns? The answer might surprise you guys, but before we check that out, comment down below if you've ever believed in any of these. Also, let me know what other curiosities about the Chicago suburbs that you still have. And okay, are you guys ready for the two biggest myth bustings here in this video? Most people think the younger generations are running away from the suburbs, but a study found that 48% of millennials working in DuPage County actually prefer suburban jobs. Nearly half. Let's take a look at this. So in 2016, a survey found that 48% of millennials preferred suburban work location. Let that sink in. Almost half the generation that supposedly can't get enough of the city life actually wants to work in the suburbs when given the choice. And this trend has truly accelerated. In the last 3 years, DuPage County added 5,000 new residents. Most of them are actually millennials, as noted in JLL investment report. And this isn't a temporary blip. It's a demographic shift that's reshaping communities. Why are millennials choosing the suburbs? The reasons that are always mentioned include work-life balance, access to outdoor space, and a stronger sense of community. As millennials start having kids, these things matter way more to them. Employers are adapting to this change. They are creating transit-oriented offices and offering flexible work policies, and in some cases, they even provide shuttle options for their employees. The DuPage Connectivity Study Report says employers are adapting. Specifically, they're creating commuter-friendly conditions for this generation. Another big reason, the lifestyle just fit. Walkable downtowns, craft breweries, and fitness studios offer the amenities this generation truly wants. Plus, they usually come without the high city price tag. When you can get the urban experience in a suburban setting for significantly less money, the choice becomes clearer. Speaking of money, the price points I'm about to reveal next are pretty incredible, so stay with me. So all this creates a new reality. Suburbs aren't where you just end up after your city years, they're where you choose to be based on value, amenities, and lifestyle. Millennial testimonials about why they left the city mention many of the same things. So quality of life improvements and finding better community connection. Preference shifts over time show this isn't a pandemic-related anomaly. It's a sustained trend that predates recent work changes. And when you visit suburban hotspots on the weekends, the demographic is much younger than the stereotypical image of the suburbs would suggest. So with millennials driving demand, what does this mean for the real estate? The price points we're about to cover in this next section might surprise you, especially when you see the value comparison between city neighborhoods and suburban communities. Okay, so finally we're going to cover the last myth. The suburbs are expensive. And yes, Hinsdale has a $1.2 million average price point for homes, but that's not only the reality we see here. Here's what the suburban real estate market really looks like and why timing truly matters. People have no idea how much prices can vary across the Chicago suburbs. In DuPage County, the median home price is right around $410,000, up 6.6% year over year, and that's less than many city neighborhoods for significantly more space and amenities. In Will County, you'll find even more value with a median home price of just over $350,000, up 6.1% year over year. You're saving a lot compared to similar places in the city. In Cook County suburbs, the median price is right just under $350,000, up 7.8% year over year, and these hidden opportunities exist in communities with excellent transit access and amenities, and many buyers overlook these because they're focused exclusively on a few well-known suburbs. New developments are changing the landscape as well. Projects like the Water Street District mix homes, shops, and restaurants in walkable spaces, and transit-oriented developments by metro stations are truly popular. Buyers truly do like the walkability, but not the city prices. Property tax strategies matter in the Chicago region too. Chicago has an effective tax rate of around 2%, while compared to Will County's 2.6%. This difference can translate to many dollars annually on similar price homes. This creates opportunities for strategic buyers. From an investment perspective, suburban appreciation rates have been strong and consistent. Future projects like the I-88 Tech Corridor and Metro's 2023 to 2027 strategic plan may help nearby communities grow. These improvements promise long-term benefits for the area. So, comparing city condos and suburban homes at the same price show a clear difference. Suburban areas often offer better long-term value. They provide more space, great amenities, and a higher quality of life. And opportunity area maps show spots where prices are still reasonable, even near transit and amenities. When you add up costs like property taxes, transportation, and daily expenses, many buyers are truly surprised. Suburban living often turns out to be more affordable, even with some commuting costs. So there you guys have it. The Chicago suburbs aren't boring bedroom communities at all. They're packed with culture, have commutes that aren't awful, and offer all kinds of housing options that could be exactly what you're looking for. If you're ready to explore these communities for yourself, I'd love to help you find that perfect match. I know these suburbs inside and out, so reach out to me. You can find all my information down below in the description. I'll personally respond to you guys and guide you through all the incredible options we've talked about today. No pressure, just real conversations about what matters most to you and your loved ones.